Well, hello and welcome to the Midday News on VOP TV. I'm Moses Humphrey. First, the headlines. Labor unions walk out on the federal government, reject 48,000 naira proposed new national minimum wage. More resignations in Rivers State as 5 pro-WK commissioners quit Fubara's cabinet. Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 33.69% in April 2024. And now, to the news in detail. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have rejected the federal government's proposal of 48,000 naira as the new national minimum wage, describing it as an insult to the sensibilities of Nigerian workers. The unions had demanded a minimum wage of 615,000 naira, citing the current economic situation and the need for an average Nigerian family of 6. The federal government's proposal was seen as a reduction in income for federal level workers who are already receiving 30,000 naira as mandated by law, augmented by Buhari's 40% peculiar allowance, that's 12,000 naira, and the 35,000 naira wage award, totaling 77,000 naira only. The labor leaders walked out on the negotiation, citing the government's lack of seriousness in engaging in fair negotiation with Nigerian workers. The organized private sector had proposed an initial offer of 54,000 naira, which was still seen as inadequate by the labor unions. The labor unions have called on the government to reconsider its position and come to the negotiation table with clear hands that reflects the true value of the contributions made by Nigerian workers to the nation's development and the objective socio-economic realities that confront not just Nigerian workers, but Nigerians today as a result of the policies of the federal government. Well, the federal government is set to tackle the power challenges in Nigeria with an additional 500 million standard cubic feet of gas in the domestic market. The government said it would also enhance industrialization and create more jobs with more gas supply into the nation's economy. President Bola Tinubu disclosed this while inaugurating 3 critical gas infrastructure projects executed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Seplat Energy, and other partners in Ohaji Egbema in Imo State and Kwale in Delta State. The president launched the expansion of the AHL gas processing plant, the Ano gas processing plant, and the 23.3-kilometer Ano to Obiafu Obrikom Oben custody transfer metering station gas pipeline project. Tinubu said approximately 500 millimeters of gas in aggregate would be supplied to the domestic market from these 2 gas processing plants, which represent over 25% incremental growth in gas supply. In practical terms, this translates into more gas for the power sector. Well, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has warned civil society organizations to avoid association with corrupt individuals and practices that support bad governance. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede issued this warning during a meeting with executives of the Conference of Northern States Civil Society Network in Abuja. He emphasized that CSOs must not engage in activities that undermine the fight against corruption and economic crimes, and highlighted concerns over some state governments funding CSOs to attack anti-corruption agencies. Olukoyede commended the efforts of CSOs that support anti-corruption initiatives and praised President Bola Tinubu for policies aimed at reducing corruption, such as the consumer credits and student loan scheme. The federal government has called on tax practitioners to intensify their efforts in increasing tax revenue, highlighting it as the primary source of income for the nation. This appeal was made by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madein, at the 26th Annual Tax Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria in Abuja. VOP TV's Oyidamola Olukuton has the rest of the story.
Economic hardship. The federal government has called on tax practitioners to intensify their efforts in increasing tax revenue, highlighting it as the primary source of income for the nation. This appeal was made by the Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Madein, at the 26th Annual Tax Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria in Abuja. She highlighted the importance of sustainable tax culture to ensure continuous revenue flow. She noted the Federation Account Allocation Committee relies heavily on monthly figures from the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS), which recently exceeded its 2023 revenue target by 816 billion naira, collecting 12.37 trillion naira. As Voice of the People TV, we are on the streets to hear the opinion of the citizens as regarding the situation.
Forcing tax is not really the right thing. There are several other means we can use. There are several other things we can do. And even if you want to use tax, at least the rate should be very, very low. Because 50% of Nigerians are earning even below what you don't, like what you can't even think of. And some are not even employed. And the ones that are employed are earning, at least I know some people that are earning still 30,000, 40,000 in this same economy, and they are graduates. So it's as bad as that. So government should just please look at other means of making the economy go, like subsidize the necessary things and let the ones that are okay just stand alone.
Everything we do, people will pay tax. So I believe that tax is where they are generating their revenue from, but at the same time it is affecting the masses. Because imagine someone who goes out every day for business, but you go out for business and you return with very little, and still you expect them to pay tax. How do you expect them to survive? So it's actually not worth it. If the economy were booming, then fine. If you say we should pay tax, no problem. But the economy is stagnant, the economy is not moving forward. I am expecting us to pay tax. Where do we get the money from to pay the tax? When the economy is not moving, businesses are not moving forward. There's increment in everything, commodities, goods, so there's no way we can pay tax without a good economy.
APC government, immediately they entered, they remove fuel subsidy. If you look at the country now, everything is hard. Everything is hard for the masses. Look at the price of garina, rice, everything is on the high side. We've never been in this kind of economy before. So we don't know where we are going. So all those FRS, they are saying they are giving loans. I'm not even aware. I don't know. That's not the way to help the masses. They should make everything come down. Let Gary come down. Let beans, rice come down. Nigeria have never been in this kind of hard economy before.
Tẹgbà yẹn àwọn owó yẹn is like pé ẹ fi ní aráàlú lára ni fine ẹ reduce tax yẹn má yẹ kó máa pọ̀ jù nígbà tẹ́yìn tẹ́jẹ́ ara rẹ̀ sínsìn tẹ́ ní pé gba ẹ̀yin ni income yín pọ̀ jù out of àwọn government workers. What of àwọn custom? What of àwọn police officer? Ṣé get point mi? So taba wo is like pé it's like ẹni aláàrú lára nìyẹn. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kán bá reduce it so that nǹkan tó bá dẹ̀ ń fowó yẹn ṣe kó jẹ́ kán máa rí.
The citizens airing their both positive and negative effects of tax. Damola Olukuton reporting for VOP TV.
You're watching the Midday News on VOP TV. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Moving on to Rivers State, where 5 commissioners loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has resigned from Governor Fubara's cabinet. The commissioners cited a hostile work environment and the heightened political crisis in the state as their reasons for resigning. In their resignation letters, they mentioned a loss of trust, animosity, and sharp division among colleagues in the same cabinet. The resignation of the 5 commissioners brings to 9 the number of pro-Wike commissioners who have resigned from Fubare's cabinet amid the deepening crisis between the two party leaders. The Rivers State government, however, stated that their resignation is a normal occurrence in a healthy environment. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC Youth Frontier has urged members of the Rivers State Assembly whose seats were recently declared vacant to contest fresh elections. In a statement on Thursday, the group condemned the lawmakers' defection from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), labeling it as a betrayal of the trust and mandate given to them. The statement, signed by National President Comrade Ajani Martins, described the defectors as political opportunists with no place in the APC, emphasizing that their actions were morally wrong and indicative of a lack of principles and integrity. Martins further asserted that the ruling party does not support such acts of illegality and treachery, stating that the constituents who voted for the defecting lawmakers deserve better representation. The APC Youth Frontier strongly criticized the 25 parliamentarians, disowning their actions and calling for accountability. The managing director, Uzoma Nwagba, of the Nigerian Consumer Credit, the managing director of the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Uzoma Nwagba, says they have recorded massive applications by Nigerians since the unveiling of the first phase in April. The credit scheme is said to be able to provide access to funds for Nigerian workers. Anita Ndubeze has the rest of the story.
The Managing Director and CEO of the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Uzoma Nwagba, revealed that within just 3 weeks of launching the consumer credit scheme, over 1 million Nigerians have applied for loans. The scheme targets working citizens, providing access to funds for essential purchases. Nwagba emphasized the anticipation of the masses regarding the scheme following its unveiling by President Bola Tinubu in April. Highlighting his commitment to expanding consumer credit availability, stressing the importance of a systematic approach to achieve this goal, the scheme, as outlined by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, aims to strengthen credit reporting systems, offer credit guarantees, and promote responsible consumer credit for an improved quality of life. VOP TV brings people opinion regarding the consumer credit scheme.
You are giving money to pay later, do this to pay. Did he go to the grassroots? Can he go to the grassroots? Somebody like me now, look at me. I had an accident. I'm struggling to survive. I sell flowers. Who remembers me? I was in the village last week. They brought palliative, half bag of rice for almost 500 people. Half bag of rice for almost 500 people. I was laughing at home. I said, look at this government. They look like we are fools. The only thing is that the Nigerian population is growing every day. Giving loan to people is not the issue. Because most of those that are handling the loans are eating the loans. They will not give it to the appropriate people. Is it famine? They will not do anything. They will not do. They will hide it and give it to their relations.
If they are giving people loan and mortgage, like mortgage banker, you are saying. So how do you want them to pay? Is it the government? Is it those people that are working for government? Is it the civil servant that you are giving, or everybody, or the citizens you are giving them? So I don't understand. Is it the civil servants or the? Okay, if it is the civil servants, so I can think it's good for them because it will ease their this thing. But if it is everybody, it's not everybody that is working for government now. So some people are working for themselves, independent. so they are not depending on government. So I don't know. But for those kind of people, how would they benefit from that such loans? So I don't get it.
Scheme is okay. You buy now and pay later. But if you look at it the other way, won't it affect the government? Or won't it affect the country? Because most people, when they buy, they feel reluctant to pay later, even when they have the money. They feel reluctant to pay. So in that situation, is it not going to affect the government also? Because it now goes both ways. The people benefit when you buy now and pay later. Then the government will also benefit when it is actually being paid later. But when it is not being paid, the people benefit and the government loses. So in that situation, I would say it is a good scheme, it is good, and in the other way, it is somehow.
Anita Undubweze reporting for VOP TV.
Well, today marks the annual observance of the International Day of Living in Peace, a day dedicated to promoting the ideals of peace, harmony, and coexistence among people worldwide. On this day, communities, organizations, and individuals come together to reflect on the challenges to peace and to reaffirm their commitment to fostering peaceful relations. VOP TV's Matthew Ogunswada gives more insight on the significance of this day.
Today is the International Day of Living in Peace, and this memorable day is celebrated annually on May 16th. Today, people from all walks of life come together to commemorate this phase and advocate for peace on a global scale. The International Day of Peace was established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly. 2 decades later, in 2001, the General Assembly unanimously voted to designate this day as a period of non-violence and ceasefire. The day aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, to build a sustainable world of peace, solidarity, and harmony. Mr. Peter Anosike is a development economist, trainer, and author. He speaks on the significance of this day with the 2024 theme, Action for Peace, Our Ambition for Global Goals.
Peace is the bedrock, is the foundation of human existence. We cannot live without peace, so it is very, very important. It means a lot to me and every right-thinking person. Peace is what is sustaining life on earth. Without peace, there will be war everywhere. But we should learn that peace from our homes. Understand? Parents have a lot to do. When you bring up children in the right way, in a loving way, when you grow up in a loving family, understand? You will take that to the society. But when you come from a broken home, a home where there's no love and peace, we cannot give what we don't have. So peace should start from our individual homes, then to the church, and so on, to the church and mosque, and so on and so forth.
While we celebrate this day, it is essential to recognize that the quest for peace knows no borders. Across the globe, individuals and nations are striving for peaceful resolutions to conflict and fostering dialogue and understanding among diverse communities. Individuals and organizations are joining hands to promote peace, tolerance, and understanding.
You're still watching the Midday News on VOP TV. We have stories on sports, business, and entertainment after this break. Well, Nigerians have expressed displeasure over a government-sponsored mass wedding of 100 orphans who lost their parents to banditry attacks in Niger State. The event, announced by the Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Abdul Malik Sakindaji, has sparked controversy and a petition calling for transparency and accountability. The petition, signed by thousands, argues that the event violates the rights and dignity of the vulnerable children and misuse of public funds. It cites Article 18 of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantees free and compulsory primary education, and Article 15, which protects the dignity of the human person. The concerned Nigerian citizens group is demanding that the Niger State government prioritizes the education and well-being of the orphan girls instead of subjecting them to forced marriages. They're calling for adequate support, including access to quality education and proper care in well-managed orphanage homes. In response to the backlash, the Speaker has stopped the planned wedding, and the Women Affairs Minister has taken legal action to halt the event. The controversy highlights concerns over the treatment and protection of vulnerable children in Nigeria. In business, Nigeria's headline inflation rate climbed to 33.69% in April 2024, up from 33.20% in March. As reported by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, the increase of 0.49 percentage points marks a significant rise compared to the previous year, when the inflation rate stood at 22.22%. The month-to-month inflation rate for April 2024 was 2.29%, indicating a slower rate of price increases compared to March's 3.02%. Food inflation also surged to 40.53% year-on-year, driven by higher prices for staples such as millet, flour, gari, and bread, highlighting the growing cost pressures faced by Nigerian consumers. Core inflation, excluding volatile agricultural products and energy, rose to 26.84% in April 2024, reflecting significant price hikes in housing, transportation, and medical services. In sports now, the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria, reigning champions, aim to begin their WAFU B Under-17 championship journey on a winning note as they face Burkina Faso today. The highly anticipated match will take place at the University Stadium in Accra, a rematch of the previous edition's final, which saw Nigeria clinch victory with a 2-1 scoreline. Led by experienced coach Manu Garba, the team is optimistic about a successful campaign, with Garba expressing confidence in his players' abilities. Following's death remains unknown. And that's it on the midday news on VOP TV. But before we go, let's take another look at our major headlines. Labour unions walk out on federal government, reject 48,000 naira proposed new national minimum wage. More resignations in Rivers State as 5 pro-WK commissioners quit Fubara's cabinet. Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 33.69% in April 2024. Well, many thanks for watching, but do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. I am Moses Humphrey. Good afternoon.